So my name is Fior Robles, and this is the last week for a final project for Minesweeper. And so first, I want to start off by saying that this has been very interesting project, and it has brought me a lot of challenges, but also a lot of learning. And I am proud still of how far I've gotten, but I know it's not as good as it should have been able to be. And so I just want to put that out there because also it's not a code that will necessarily run because of the parts that I have. Um, so it's sad, but I'll show you everything that I have and then talk about like why. So for this one here, I'm showing first the Minesweeper version that we created, the first one before the GUI, and then I'm going to go in and explain that one and what I have for that specific one. So here we start the Minesweeper creating the board, and then just start out by setting up the difficulty levels that the person can choose. So I wanted it to be, I just chose a number of rows and columns right there, but I wanted to have a difficulty where like if they chose easy, medium, or hard, it would be that amount of cells. These would be the amount of mines for the difficulty level, and then in like a 10 mine game, it would be a 6x6 grid. And so then after that, we've got creating the array of the rows and columns, and then start to put the bombs into the array. And what I wanted to do was have it randomly selected, so it would choose a number between 0 and 10. For this one, it would be like the I value would be rows, and then J would be columns. So then it would go and choose a random row and then a random column and then set the mine at that spot. Then afterwards, I have, so if when attempting to calculate the mines that are next to the cell, I want to have a part where it could be like, if the board at spot XY does not equal -1, then that is not where a mine is. So here's the flood fill part, and it adds the squiggly line over all of the grid boxes, and you can see right there where it goes through every column and row. And now let me go to the cell class. So here it was very basic, I want to say. It was more of a, is there something in the cell or not? So then if there is a mine, then it was false. If the mine is visited, then it was also false. So then it could just tell you, is there something there, or is there not something there? And then for the program itself, I have, so you start by choosing the difficulty level. So then in case 1, you have 10 mines, in case 2, you have 20 mines, and in case 3, you have 30 mines. And then you get the grid to show up, and then there's a cell number and the amount of cells that there would be. Yeah. And then you print the board, and it starts out asking you what row, what number, and then it continues the game until you're done. And then I have that 3 times for the 3 different scenarios. And then if you win, then you have congratulations, you have won the game. But if you lose, then it says bomb found, game is over. Okay, so now this is the GUI version of the game. And then so the user starts off by selecting a difficulty level. So it's easy, moderate, or difficult, and then they press play. So in the code for that, it's mostly just this last part where once they have selected a difficulty level, then they can choose, the game takes them to the next form. And so form 2 will be the start game, where there is the timer, and then the grid pops up, and then here you can see where the points are taken. And then for form 2, here we start by creating the board, and then once it is created, well, before it's created, here's that part where we add all of the buttons are added, or all the buttons are added on the grid. And then it also has the if a grid button is clicked. And then once it's clicked, it has a message that pops up because I couldn't have it have the other part of the game connected, since it was just going to give me an error because the other code had a little bit, well, a bunch of the red underlines. Okay, so now I am going to do a little demo of the game. Now you can see you can select the level, easy, moderate, or difficult. So I'll choose moderate and then click play. Now our second screen shows up. So let me change it to that. And here is where we press start game, and then the timer starts moving, and then you can click the buttons, and then it just says you clicked it, since I couldn't get all of the other parts to join with it so that it would display all of the mines and the numbers. Mostly, yeah, well, if you get the mines, then the numbers will show up. But that didn't work. And then the points would be right there. But since the game doesn't actually go, it doesn't have that. And then we also have, and I wanted to show the other ones because it doesn't, well, Form 3, I don't know why the design got taken away, but or why, I guess I might have made a mistake, but that was supposed to be the you lose screen, and then Form 4 was the you win, and then the time would show up, and then once you press OK, you can move on to Form 5, where the score should be transferred, and then you just input your name and you add it to the list, and then you're done with the game. So as I mentioned before, I did face a lot of challenges while making this, and I think, well, first, I think that since I didn't know C sharp much at all, but when I started the class, I think that had a little bit to do with it. But I still think that if I were to do this again, I could have done it better. And I think I could have researched more, because at this point, I have been trying to do things and changing things, but then it doesn't seem to work. And then I'm kind of a little bit frustrated with it because I know what I want to do, but putting it into the code and like getting the things to work together is where I tend to face problems. And then, so like once I start to like dedicate some time to it and try to figure out why it's not working, I get a little bit, but it's very small steps that I keep getting that are like good, but then like even just connecting the other board to this would just not work for it because it wouldn't allow the other forms. Well, it's not that it wouldn't allow the other forms to work, but it wouldn't display properly because of how I have it. And then just the errors at the end are the problem, because having any errors are what makes the code not run at all. Um, and so what I've learned is a lot. I've learned a lot about how to use this, just all this GUI system. And I think it's really good. And I really enjoyed doing it. I just wish it could have worked better for this project. But I don't regret anything of this course. I think it's been a lot of learning. So thank you so much for watching. And I hope you enjoyed it, even though I know that it is not perfect. Well, it's not really close to perfect, but I do appreciate all that I've learned.